Hey, everybody. Hello. Good morning. You guys know me as a satellite guy. Well, today I'm not doing something that's satellite. Ooh, that's weird. Don't know what to do with this. The VarAC app has become my primary HF communications mode in the last year. It is wonderful. I grew up, I shouldn't say grow up, but I got started in digital back in the early 2000s when PSK31 was big. I loved keyboard rag chewing. It was great, except with no error correction or anything like that. If you had QRM or if you had bad SNR, it became gobbledygook. It was stupid. So everybody stopped doing, and then everybody started doing FT4 and FT8 and the JT modes, and that was cool and that was great. But aside from a call sign and a grid square and a signal report, you know nothing, you learn nothing, you communicate nothing with your with the other QSO partner. In fact, the system's so darn automated that once you click on a call sign, it finishes the QSO for you. Well, that's great. That's fine. And that's good. And you can do DXCC real easy with FT4. But I still was frustrated because that's fine. I'm just hitting a button. The radio's doing the DSP's doing the rest. Well, this is a DSP piece of software, but it lets you communicate. And that's what Radush and Gary wanted to do when they created this. Now, this software is based around, actually based on top of the VARA modem. If you guys do WinLink, you most likely use the VARA modem as your interface from the sound card to the RF world. Well, they built this software to run with VARA exclusively. It's Windows-based, and you could run it on Linux with Wine or whatever. But it uses the ARQ, the full call response and error correction capabilities of the VARA modem to give you 100% copy lossless communications. Now, if the signal to noise ratio is low, like a -18, -20, like you can accomplish with FT8, yeah, you'll probably only get 18 bits per second stretched out over, so it might take you a while to get a one-sentence comment out, but yet it will get through. PSK would never have done that. So these are the two guys authoring it. And what's kind of fun about this software is they are continually modifying it. They just released version 10.4.3 the other day. He's already advertising what he's going to do with 10.6, the next version that with features and such that he's doing. I'm going to try to give you a little bit of a sort of live demo with really crappy audio in just a little bit to show you kind of how this works. The rationale behind, and the cool part about this mode is he just got done talking about MCOM stuff. This can actually play into an MCOM environment as well. There are MCOM groups all around the country that are using the VarAC program, but it also just provides you can use it in POTA, you can use it just sitting in your shack, wanting to talk to other people. It's really a lot of fun. And like I said, it runs based on the VARA modem. There's a free version of the VARA modem that lets you do 500 hertz bandwidth, and you can get, I've actually gotten transfers at about 800 bits per second. So when doing file transfers, that's not bad for HF. If you do the paid version, you can get it at 2300 hertz wide bandwidth. They'll let you do a lot more, but there are some caveats in using that on the normal VARA watering holes. And it is link it gets a packet with no errors or in a low bandwidth, it'll say, oh, next time you send me that, next time I send you that, I'm going to send it at a higher bit rate. And so it's very adaptive to conditions. That's for the VARA modem. And there are multiple, based on the SNR conditions and such, it depends upon, you end up with higher bit rates through the thing. So the VARA modem, of course, talks to your radio, but the software and PSK reporter and other things like that are triggered by the VarAC app. That's basically a kind of overview of the current interface. This presentation, as you saw at the beginning by Erad, was actually done in 2022. He's made up a lot of modifications, including to the UI. So this is the current UI. Most of the slides you're going to see that will show the UI will be from his 2022 presentation, which is a little different, but still very similar. And I'm actually going to, if I got time, I've got the UI open, although not connected to a radio, and I can kind of walk through a couple of things for you here, maybe possibility. The VARA modem has very little setup. If you buy the license, you can get it for free. It has a little bit of a nag screen. You can still operate just fine with the nag screen. If you pay the $65, which you don't have to, then you get 2300 hertz methodology. So basically the setup's really simple. If you got your license key, you put it there. Under the audio settings, you select your sound card interface that will talk to the radio. A little caveat, and if you get involved in this mode, you'll hear people that don't do it right. They'll use the default sound card, which is usually supposed to be your speakers on your laptop or computer. Well, so since, as you'll see in a little bit, the VarAC app can do voice narration and various different things that happen on the app. And so you'll send out a CQ and suddenly you'll hear coming back on HF, doo-doo, CQ from N5 HYP. Well, that's not supposed to happen because the computer sound card can get narration from the app. The physical modem output or data output goes to the VARA modem through your sound card interface, just like FT8's supposed to. So, oops, I didn't do that. There we go. So there's various different setups. You set up your information that can be put via tags into a macro that you can send out real easily. And those are kind of a couple of the sample tags over here that you can put into a macro for that. And you have to tell the VarAC application where the VARA modem is. But what's kind of fun is you can actually, if you have an SDR like a Flex that has multiple slices, you can actually run multiple instances of this software and the multiple instances of the VARA modem, and link them all uniquely so that you can have multiple instances running per slice. Rig control. I choose to use FLRig because I also have other apps that run off of FLRig, so it's convenient. But you can run cat controls directly from VARA. The VARA modem itself doesn't have any cat control. It's all based on the any software that's running it, and so you can use direct rig control. You can use FLRig or OmniRig or whatever floats your boat to be able to do that. It has interface to multiple types of logging programs. I use N3FJP, Log4OM, and others. Since the VarAC app keeps its ADIF file, but at the end of a QSO, if you program your app like N3FJP, to have the API running, then this knows the API and it sends the QSO log information to the logging app. Here we are talking about QSO behavior, how it works during a QSO, and I'll explain stuff about slots and all that in just a little bit. But you know, and whether it keeps lists of recent QSOs and such like that. There's more CQ behavior, how CQs work, how beacons work. You can send unattended beacons. Unfortunately, a lot of people send beacons, they leave their radio on all day long, and it's just beaconing every 15 minutes. And then when you try to connect to them, it says, oh, I'm away, send an email. Well, that's nice, but I want to talk to somebody. So I will always answer a CQ if I hear one, because I want people to answer mine. It has an MCOM mode, and I've never dealt with it yet, but like I said, there are groups, because you can send there are some alternate behaviors that the thing will do, that the program will do in MCOM mode, and so that's cool. There's also something called Hamplay that's under development. Right now there's only two things, Connect 4 and Tic-Tac-Toe, but the whole point is you can be playing a game. I mean, there's folks, I think, that are really pushing for it. I'm sure somewhere out there is going to figure out how to code Battleship, which would be fun. That would be fun to be doing a QSO, talking to somebody. Oh, and it's time for me to make a move. I'll make a move here. Let's see when that one. He makes a move and such like that. That's what IRAD is looking for, is interaction. That's what I got in a ham radio for, was to talk to people, not to just hit buttons. So there we go. Now what's cool is you can modify the appearance, and like I said, there are aspects of voice narration. It'll tell you if it hears a CQ. It'll tell you if it hears a beacon. It'll I have it read off the text that comes from the other side. It can make sounds if you have a person that a call that you flag as this is somebody I want to know if they're on the air, that it'll go if that person shows up. It's kind of nice. And yes, in that area, you can send out a beacon. A beacon is a kind of like a broadcast. It doesn't have error correction in it, but you can see what stations are on the air, because every 15 minutes, if you set it up, it'll beacon your signal on that particular band. And there's also, of course, CQs, and you have some options for how you view and sort the CQs. CQs are also connectionless packets, but they set up a whole procedure for if you answer the CQ, suddenly then the VARA modem starts negotiating the connection between the two things. Now, how this works is, of course, just like FT8 has a watering hole, VARA has watering holes as well, and they are called calling frequencies. Like the primary one is the 20 meters, 40 is kind of number 2, and then the other ones kind of go from there. I've worked some VARA on 10 and such like that. So you send a CQ or a beacon on the calling frequency, but then when you decide to do the CQ, VarAC sets up 750 hertz slots. And you have a slot sniffer, so you can click on that, and it'll take your radio to the slot frequency to see whether or not that frequency is clear. Of course, that's what we're supposed to do as hams. We're supposed to listen to see that the frequency is clear before we transmit. So when you do that, then you click CQ, and it calls CQ twice, and then moves your radio to the slot, and you can determine how long it'll sit there. I have mine by default to sit there for 6 minutes, and wait for somebody else. Once it connects to the QSO, and then it starts doing the ARQ through the VARA modem. That will determine, and usually the first thing out, it'll spew out an SNR report from the other station, and they'll spew out one for you, and then you can start the conversation, and it'll spew out an ID automatically every 5 minutes, which usually contains a signal-to-noise ratio report. However, you can change that behavior if you want. There's also a verbose SNR, which is kind of a little bit wasteful, but it'll send a SNR report every go-around that you do. It has a cool call sign history feature where if you've worked like, if you work him or whatever, you can see how many times that you have worked them, what the duration of the call was, and it also gives you, it saves the text history up to like 200 or whatever lines, and you can see what you talked about the last time. And what's cool about that is it will choose, the app will bring up your last QSO in that section here to let you pick up where you left off. That's kind of cool. It also has a connection to PSK Reporter. So when you do a beacon or a CQ, those frequencies are, the calling frequencies are listened to by many PSK Reporter stations around the country, but also around the world, but also other VarAC can report what it hears in, from both incoming stations like CQs and beacons and yours out the PSK Reporter, and then you click on a button on the interface and it opens up the PSK Reporter map and you can see how you're doing. Like I said, it logs to multiple different logging programs. Those are the list of what you got. And I did make a suggestion about how it works with N3FJP. I'm hoping he fixes it by the time he gets to 10.6. Also, it has VMail. You can send a mail message to, like if the guy's beaconing, so he's not there, I'm away, and it'll actually, if you check in the checkbox that, I'm away, VARA will prompt you to send an email message, a VMail message off if you want to, and you can do that. You also can forward emails from station to station if they do there's a routing type mode you can do that you can actually let other stations that hear that that also the other station, that you can pass mail through you to them. It also has VMail relay notifications. It tells you whether or not there is a, when you contact a station, say it's a beacon, but you've sent them an email before, that station, when you connect, will say, oh, I have an email to send to, VMail to send to you. And so you get notified of that, you click on it, and it starts the procedure of transferring the VMail back to you. You can use broadcasts as group chat. This is where MCOM kind of comes in a little bit, because you can, this is not error corrected. This is just open text. So, they can fail with poor SNR situations, but that allows you to say, hey, I'm here on this frequency, or I'm doing POTA here, and so everybody kind of understands that yes, this is a POTA station, and you can actually connect. You could pop their call sign into the call sign field and then do a connect and get that contact going. The thing is, once you get off of this calling frequency, you do not see the CQs, you do not see the beacons, because you're no longer on the calling frequency. So any CQs or beacons that happen while you're out there on a slot, you will not see. But it does have a QSY protocol. So again, it's interesting, I forgot to mention, in the CQ, the slot frequency is coded into the CQ. So if I say I'm going to go to slot 1, which is 14.104.250, that's coded in the CQ. So then after the CQ is done, it moves my radio to 14.104.250. Okay, so somebody else clicks on the CQ message and they're automatically pushed to 14.104.250. So it's baked into the CQ, so there's no guessing. If there are times where you may have to QSY during a QSO, a QRM pops up or something like that, and you you can engage the QSO several ways by doing the slider up here, or by, there are some, on the newer interface, there's also buttons up here that you don't see on this one to either let you go one slot down or one slot up, or to do a freeform QSY, which is that. You know, there are also a bunch of different tags, a whole list of tags that can be thrown into canned messages to do various different things. And the newer version has this inquire button on the side, and you can hit like a button like version, and it'll send out a request to the partner to find out what version of software he has and spew it back to you. So you can go, oh, he's got the newer version, we can do ham play now. It has a dark mode. You can, and also you can use it as a file transfer. You can do images, you can do text files. This is where it's great for MCOM. Text files, non-VMail type messages. The thing, though, that you need to realize is on HF, you don't want these files to be big. I recommend a 5 kilobyte file as a max. If you would to do a big one, you might be waiting for an hour or so to get that darn thing to transfer, and that's just not fun. So you know, keep them short. So, you know, and they do have a file compression tool for images that you can engage, that'll take whatever images you got and do another form of compression and size on it to get it to be, you know, something that's easily sendable. So it's got to be a basic image. But I mean, if you're using VARA FM and you're relatively close, you can do high bit rates. Yeah, you could get rid of a. So I'm going to do a live, well, it's not a live demo, but it's a recorded QSO that I did. The audio's going to suck. So I'll be talking, kind of explaining stuff as we go. My webcam is, I forgot how darn lousy it is until I played back what I recorded 3 days later to edit. And I went, oh, this just is bad. But anyway, on the upper right-hand corner is me by my radio. And this is FL rig. And there's the VARA modem. So let's see what happens here. Oop. So I'm going to do a CQ here in a minute. So I brings up the slot sniffer, where I can listen to perspective. So you see, it moved my radio to the slot. I go, oh, it's clear. So I'm going to then click on CQ.
CQ, this is November 5 Hotel Yankee Papa.
That's my radio.
Somebody will come back to me. The CQ has that slot.
And it does a second, it's a second CQ, which PSK reporter stations will pick up. And then it moved my radio to the slot. So now I'm going to sit there and wait for a bit, and hopefully somebody's going to come back to me. We'll have heard my CQ, and they will click on it when it shows up on their screen, and hang in there. Oh.
Incoming connection request. Still don't know who that is. Connected to November Bravo 8 mic.
So there's a little echo because of the... So now we're negotiating the connection here. So I got his signal report as a connection, and then there was my signal report, and then I came up, or that's his and that's mine.
Hello from home.
And so I have it narrating text as well as connection information and such like that. And so that's kind of the concept here. I'm going to truncate this a little bit, but we exchange pleasantries and such like that. And so I'm sending my canned info from the setup file. And
between 150 and 250 bits per second transfer rate from me to him.
we're having a little trouble here negotiating. Now it says, and that's another feature it can do just like on your cell phone he's typing, that sometimes in low bandwidth wastes a lot of time. And then you read out their text as they go. We're running kind of a slower bit speed here. I think we're only running 80 bits per second. But you see the number of carriers increase as it uses multiple carriers, and as it sees better SNR ratios, it will throttle up or down the speed based on that. So I'm going to, and then of course Bo's barking in the background. I'm going to quit this. Okay, that's just the base concept. I mean, there's a lot more you can do with it than that little demo. And I wish we could have done something live, and I wish there was a way to pop an antenna out the window and just sit here and play with it. I'm sure we could have, oops, stop that. You could also set it up in monitor, the VARA modem in monitor mode, where it gives you kind of a connectionless look at a QSO, but it normally, if you're in the VARA modem doing the transmit receive, you don't see this. You have to actually have another instance in monitor mode to be able to look at the raw connection. You can have various profiles. So if you have different radios, you can set up different profiles. If you're at different stations, if you want to set it up for MCOM one way and regular communications another way, you can set up profiles. Like I said, you can do multiple slices in an SDR that has multiple slices, or you happen to just have 4 HF radios and 4 HF antennas, or HF and VHF and UHF. And in fact, there's for the folks on QO100 in Europe, the geostationary satellite, there's a satellite version of the VARA modem that will work for that and be able to handle the latencies. You notice that the transmit-receive gap is very, very short. If you tried to run that on a satellite link, a round-trip geo-satellite link, it wouldn't work. So having a mode that says, okay, I'm going to, just like moon bounce, you got to figure out that you got latency going to the moon and back. So same concept. There we go. And so this is a list of do's and don'ts. Don't use the 2300 mode on the calling frequency. Don't use ping feature for just to find a DXCC entry or something like that. Don't QSY to a frequency without checking it first. Don't try sending large files or you'll wait for a long time. Now there's other cool features. Like I said, if you're going to do beacons, you're going to leave the thing on all day long, there's a frequency scheduler. You can say, okay, at oh, 700, I want to switch to 20 meters. At 2230, I want to switch to 40 meters. And it will force the radio to do that. It has, like I said, canned messages. It has, you can disable the PTT. It has, you could use Vox, but that wouldn't be really too good. You can block certain stations from being received. You can block pings. You can set an auto away. You can have it show you distance and bearing. You can do stuff like that. There's a lot of support for it. There's a good forum out there that's not Groups.io. There's a Facebook page. There's other places like that. And that's it for this. Since I got time, I have the web, oh, hold on, I want to back out of this. I have the application up. There you go. It got lost. Okay, there we go. You see, that's the area that you would see broadcasts pop in. This is the text mode. If I can go to various things like if I were in the middle of a QSO, there's a graph function that you can get a graph of how your signal has been trending. How it shows a better job of what the other station, because it will track the SNR for every over that it's doing. On the end for me, it only tracks when every 5 minutes or so the other station is sending my SNR report of what it's receiving me as. This is your area down here where you type text. Once you hit enter, it drops up into the queue area while it waits for whatever's happening on the frequency, and when it's ready to send, it drops over here into send. You get a progress bar to see how many bytes have actually been transmitted at any given time. Of course, the modem will be telling you what it's doing for speed and such like that. And on receive side, you will see the, again, there are always multiple carriers. So the thing survives by the fact that there's, like I think, about 35 carriers that are all running at there are multiple carriers that are running at a low symbol rate, like 35. And so the fact that it's all being interleaved, it can handle variable fading, we're variable frequency fading, which is really cool to watch the waveform kind of the top part of the 500 hertz slot being down multiple dB from the left half. You've all heard that, the whooshy fading. That's what that is. And it handles that very well just because of the interleaving and all. Let me see what else I can show you here. Tools, call sign history. Let me just throw, oops, I did that wrong. Stand by. Tools, how did I get here? What did I do? I'm not sure. Tools, call sign history. That's what I wanted to do. And then I type in hope I messed up. How come it's not working for me today? There it goes. So you can see I can change. Now, in this newest version, he lets you resize windows. Previous versions did not, but I can click on a conversation and it will show me as far back as it remembers what that conversation was all about. Let me I want to open up Notepad real fast because I think it should open up some stuff for me here. I thought I hit Notepad. Where'd it go?
It's behind the window.
Oh, it's behind there? Yeah, there it is.
You have to close that or drag it.
Yeah, I'm going to close this because it's stuck. Okay. Oh, there we go. It keeps several things. It keeps a log. The VARA modem itself logs stuff and logs its transactional stuff, and it gets saved here. You have, there we go. This is the calling frequency list, which can be modified. Everything is plain text. You can also modify the slot availability. And like in the case of, say, 17 meters, if you went to the farthest up slot, you'd actually be into the voice portion of the band. So since this is a data mode, so they kind of, so if it hasn't been done already, you're kind of encouraged to get rid of the last slot on the right, as it were. There's just a lot of other fun things. So I'm actually kind of done with the base presentation. Throw me some questions. See what I didn't cover, or what doesn't make sense, or what I talked too darn fast about.
Could I actually see the slide where you had the Facebook links and whatnot on there?
Sure, I can get you that back. Stand by. Oh, I may have to open it back up again, but that won't take long.
Does a DigiRig help you at all with this, or is that just...
Oh, DigiRig is a great rig to use with it. Any sound card interface that can do both CAT and audio is really good. Let's just scroll down to the end here. I think that's not it. Hold on. There, that's the page you want. Let me make it full screen. What did I just do? I must have hit it into, I hit it in presenter's view. So you can take a picture of that. Go for it.
Looks good on the screen.
Looks good on the screen. Yeah, I'm in presenter's view here. But anyway, anything else?
I might probably study more into it to get my brain around all that.
Sorry about that. It's a lot of stuff. But what's cool is, if you can make any sound card interface that you can use for FTA, you can make work with this. So it's nothing special, but yes, you need the VARA modem, and then you need the VarAC application, both of which are very nicely available for free. Again, I paid for the VARA modem, so I don't get the nag screen, and I can use 2300. Only have used it a couple times. And you don't do it on the calling frequency. You go off. Actually, you do yours out of, I do mine. If I've talked to a couple of guys, I go to 14.111 500 or something like that, which is outside the slot system, and that allows both edges of the 2300 hertz bandpass to not be inside the slot, so they don't interfere with other QSOs. Because if you're in 500 hertz mode, all it provides you is QRM and nothing else.
I was kind of interested in keyboard-to-keyboard communications whenever I first got into ham radio, and I saw FT8, and it's just a basic QSO, and that's it. So I started looking into older forms like Packet and X25, and so I actually kind of been messing with some of that too, sending back and forth to a couple of
Yes.
friends.
The cool point about this is it is a growing user base. I have been just really pleased by the ability to be able to just, I mean, and it was cool. I just bumped into just randomly, I did a CQ the other night, and a guy from Minnesota called back. Well, we talked a month ago. And so, you know, he said, yeah, I know we talked months ago, and you know, how's it going today? It's just like with voice, but the nice part is especially if the conditions are not great and things are going slow, you can actually do some other stuff while the thing is hashing out its error correction to be able to get you a clean, error-free display. Now, on it's kind of cool when you have a good pipe to be able to have things transfer nice and quickly, and you could get stuff happening much faster than you can type. But the ability for MCOM to be able to transfer files or images, the ability to be able to develop, just have interaction between you and the QSO partner, which is what I got into it way back in the 80s, to be able to do phone on HF and talk to people in places that I'll never get to, and actually talk to them. That's why I love this mode. Anything else? But go look it up. Go give it a shot and enjoy. I think you'll have a good time. Hope to catch you on the air. It's going to be a little hard if you're local because, of course, HF tends to not do very well in local unless you're doing NVIS. But hopefully I will. Let me know that you watched the presentation.
Thank you. Thank you.